Hello and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host Greg from the Lewiston City Library. Joining me today is Linda Steputat, Fire Marshal, Division Chief Fire Marshal for the Lewiston City Fire Department. Welcome, Linda. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show. What are we going to talk about today?
Well, we want to talk about smoke alarms today. And we've gotten the message out there really well about change your clocks, change your batteries. But beyond that, we've been starting to realize that people really don't know what to do with the rest of their smoke detectors' life, feeding, maintenance. Change your clocks, change your batteries. Great. But let me ask you this. So we're going to use you as a guinea pig.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So based on your own experience, you'll answer my questions, and the viewers will then in turn answer the questions at home about their own home and their own system. Okay? So, do you have smoke alarms in your house?
I believe I do, but I
Okay.
think they came with the house when I bought it.
Okay, so the other question is, and this is what most people have no idea, how old are your smoke alarms?
I am one of those people. I honestly have no idea how old they are.
Okay, do you think they're older than 10 years?
I would guess they probably are. I think I've been in my place now for about 7 years, and like I said, they came with the house. I kind of find it hard to believe that the last person upgraded fire alarm or smoke alarms before they sold the house.
Okay.
I think that's kind of an afterthought.
Okay, so how do you tell how old your smoke alarms are? Most people go, I don't know.
I have
You know?
no idea.
So, smoke alarm is hanging from the ceiling. Take it down and look right here. There should be a date. Now, the newer ones have a manufactured on date. The older ones have manufactured on dates as well. This one is a December of 13 date. So this one was manufactured December of 13. Smoke alarms are good for 10 years. Newer ones or other models will also have a replace by date. So if you take your smoke alarm off the ceiling and you look right there, there should be a date. If it's older than 10 years, then you need to replace your smoke alarms with newer technology. When you go to replace your smoke alarms with the newer technology, what you want to look for is a dual sensing smoke alarm. And this is, this came like this. And this tells you that it's a photoelectric and an ionization. You want both technologies. So you want to see both the P and the I somewhere on the package for that smoke alarm. What that tells you is that it will pick up a smoldering fire with just the smoke, and it will pick up a fast-moving flaming fire. Now, I don't know about you. I can't tell what kind of a fire I'm going to have in my house. I can't decide that it's going to be a fast-moving fire, therefore I should have this kind of smoke alarm. My house, I have both of them. I have photoelectric and ionization in one, and so that way I'm covered for, if a fire does happen in my house, I will be alerted to that. Other things to look for is that some of these come with a 10-year battery. So change your clocks, change your battery. You don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to get up on that chair or that ladder and take the thing down and go through that. So when the smoke alarm is 10 years old, the battery is 10 years old, your smoke alarm is done. Get rid of it, go get new technology. So my next question to you is, do you have smoke alarms in every bedroom?
I had a feeling you might ask this question, so I kind of looked around, and as a matter of fact, in my home currently, I don't have a smoke alarm in any of my bedrooms. Why is that important?
Well, smoke alarms got moved into the bedrooms after there were some fatal fires because doors were closed and infants were in bedrooms asleep with the door closed. A fire started in that room and nobody knew because smoke alarms were only required to be in the hallways at that time. So we have since been requiring since probably 1994, maybe even earlier, smoke alarms to be located in bedrooms. So we want smoke alarms in each of your bedrooms, and then outside in the hallway leading to those bedrooms. And a lot of times those will get located right in front of the bathroom door. We don't want them in front of the bathroom door because when you open the door from your shower, all the steam goes out and you get a false alarm, and people get irritated by that. So we want them somewhere in the hallway, farther away from the bathroom door, okay? And then, so we have them in the bedrooms, all the sleeping rooms. We have them in the hallways leading to those sleeping rooms, and then on every level. So, do you have a single-story house?
It's a single story with a basement.
Okay, so let's give you a second story on your house. So we have the ground floor is the living area, the upstairs are the sleeping rooms, and let's give you a rec room in the basement. Okay, so you want a smoke alarm on every level of that house so that if the smoke travels, the smoke's going to travel up that stairway, right? So if something starts in the basement and you don't have any sleeping rooms in the basement, you want to put a smoke alarm near that stairwell where that smoke is going to go past and go up that stairwell. So now we've got them in every sleeping room, we've got them in the hallways leading to the sleeping rooms, and on every level of your home. So besides changing the battery, what else do you do for maintenance on your smoke alarm?
I don't do anything.
Okay, so when you change your clocks and change your batteries, you also want to take the vacuum cleaner with the little dusting thing and go ahead and dust around through where the openings are, where the smoke's going to go in, and you can suck around in here and clean it up, and if you want to take it off and get it really good around there. So you want to vacuum out, basically you're vacuuming out the dust bunnies is what you want to do every year. And so that's pretty much rounds it out as far as what we're looking for on smoke alarms, some of the different things that we want you to know about.
And how important is it to have one? You mentioned sleeping areas on each floor of the house. Well, what about our kitchens? Is it as important to have one in the kitchen or just on that general area of that main floor?
As a rule, we don't really want smoke alarms in the kitchen because they create a nuisance alarm. If you have interconnected smoke alarms, they're going to go off throughout the whole house when you open up that stove and maybe some smoke billows out or something like that. So you really don't want them in the kitchen. If, my house, my bedroom is right off of my kitchen, so I have one near the kitchen. And it does go off occasionally, a little irritating, but, dinner's ready. But specifically one for the kitchen, you really don't want that because of all the cooking that's going on in there. It's going to create a nuisance for you.
Oh, okay. And now, we talked a lot about smoke alarms today. Are there any other types of alarms we should probably have in our homes?
Yeah, the other thing that we're looking for folks to really start to take note of are the carbon monoxide or CO detectors. And CO detectors, and we'll use you again as a guinea pig. So, do you have CO detectors in your home?
I believe I have one.
Okay, so that means that you have a gas burning stove, gas-fired, some kind of gas-fired appliance?
The only gas we have is through our HVAC system.
Okay, so you have a gas burning heater. Mm-hmm. Is your water heater electric?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so you want to see if you have a gas burning stove, gas burning water heater, gas burning heater in the home. You need CO detectors. Do you have an attached garage?
I do not.
Okay, so if you have an attached garage, you need a CO detector. What about a wood burning stove?
I do not have
Okay,
that.
so folks that have wood burning stoves would fall into the category of you need CO detectors. And so any kind of fuel that we're talking about that creates the CO issue is natural gas, propane, gasoline, oil, kerosene, wood, charcoal. Folks have actually brought their charcoal barbecues into the house because it was raining or something. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not a good idea. Stand out in the rain. Please stand out in the rain. So installing CO detectors in your home, you want them outside of the sleeping rooms and on each level of the home. Okay, so you can get smoke alarms that have CO detectors in them, but if you get the smoke alarm that has the CO detector in them, you cannot get the dual sensing smoke alarm. It's a trade-off, or you put dual sensing smoke alarms throughout the house, which is what I did, and then you get additional carbon monoxide detectors. Again, if your carbon monoxide detectors, if you already have carbon monoxide detectors in your home, you want to check the date on them, check the same way that you check with the smoke alarm, check that date, take them off, whatever base they're on, and look at them, look at the back of them or look at the bottom of them, and it will tell you when it was manufactured. If it's 10 years or older, get new technology. It's much more sensitive and it's much more sophisticated. The other thing is that if you are putting them, you're going to put them up in your home, you want to follow the manufacturer's instructions. If they kind of look like this, and the manufacturer tells you they need to be on the ceiling, you need to put them on the ceiling. If they're the kind that you can plug into the wall, that are intended to be low down and plugged into the wall, plug them in the wall. That's what you need to do. If they're intended to be hung on the wall, within so many inches of the ceiling, that's where they need to be. The ones that I have in my house actually are designed to come out of the package. You pull the battery tab out, you stand it on a table. I was done. I didn't have to get up there and put anything on the ceiling. It was really the simplest thing, and I went, I like that.
Oh, I like simplicity.
Yeah.
And why is it important for to have a CO detector? What are the symptoms? How do you know if maybe your detector isn't working, or if you don't have one? How would someone know that that is an issue in their home?
Well, that's the really scary thing, is that when people are being poisoned by carbon monoxide, the first thing that comes into their brain is not, oh, this must be CO. It's not, because carbon monoxide poisoning has flu-like symptoms. So the first thing you're going to think is, who coughed on me? Who sneezed on me? Why am I getting sick? And carbon monoxide poisoning is called the silent killer, because you don't know what's really happening. You think that you're just coming down with something, and you're going to kind of ignore that, and you're going to stay in that environment or possibly go to bed, and you aren't going to get back up. So you're looking at a mild headache, and it continues into these flu-like symptoms: nausea, tiredness, dizziness, and when you feel that way, you just want to crawl into bed. Mm-hmm. If you have a CO detector, it's going to detect and tell you, wait a minute, you have a problem. But there again, it's something that folks need to think about. Maybe it isn't the flu, and so the next time that they get flu-like symptoms, they kind of think this could be the flu, or could it possibly be CO poisoning? And the only way really to know that for sure is if you have a CO detector, detectors in your home appropriately placed. And so I'm going to read a list now, which seems a little boring, but these are really critical differences between the flu symptoms and CO poisoning. And so, something to kind of consider when you're thinking, I don't feel very good. Mm-hmm. Is this the flu? So one of the things is that you feel better when you're away from your home. So if you go outside into the fresh air and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I feel a little bit better, that needs to trigger something. That, wait a minute, something's going on. More than one person in the home gets sick at the same time. So usually the flu will kind of move from, the third grader that brought it into the house to the sixth grader to you to your wife, kind of thing. And it kind of moves through every couple of days, somebody else is getting sick. Well, if you have carbon monoxide poisoning, you've got everybody immediately sick at the same time. That should raise some suspicions. Family members who are most affected spend the most time in the home. So, if you're coming home and somebody who's there all day is kind of sick, and then you're kind of getting sick, but then when you leave, you're kind of getting better, You need to pay attention to that. Symptoms occur or get worse shortly after turning on a fuel-burning appliance or running a vehicle in an attached garage. So, you've got some leakage coming back into the house from that attached garage or something like that. One of the other things to consider when placing carbon monoxide alarms is that if you have an attached garage and you've got a bedroom above that garage, that bedroom needs a carbon monoxide detector as well. Outside that bedroom and inside that bedroom. Touch base on that. Indoor pets. Indoor pets start exhibiting flu-like symptoms. Well, your dog does not get the flu from you. Cats don't get the flu. If your whole family is down with truly the flu, your cats and dogs don't get sick. And then the last one is that you don't have that generalized aching, low-grade fever, swollen lymph nodes. So, that's another thing that should trigger. It's like, wait a minute, I'm getting the flu, but pay attention to that and think carbon monoxide. The best and easiest fix to that is get a carbon monoxide. Get carbon monoxide detectors as appropriate for the configuration and however many stories to your house that there are.
Well, Linda, thank you so much for being on the show today. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We could probably talk about this all day. I could keep going. I've got lots of questions and a lot of upgrading to do at home now.
There you go.
So it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for being here today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And for the rest of you out there, thank you for joining us today on City Beat. We hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you next time.